Hi, welcome to the Stellar Woman Show, the Stellar Magazine, and the podcast that brings you thriving women's stories, knowledge, and experiences so that you too can become, so that you can be inspired, learn one or two things, make a change in your life, and bring about impact. We are here to bring you light in form of knowledge from one woman to another. And this is our way in which we can make a world a better and brighter world. We believe that knowledge is power, of course, if it is acted upon. My name is Stella Olivia Kikoyan, editor-in-chief and your host for the Stella Woman magazine and the podcast. And today, I'm really thrilled and honored to bring you a great conversation between two thriving women, stellar women, Katy Garner and Peace Mitchell. Peace, welcome to the Stellar Woman Show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here with you.
Yeah, it's so fantastic. You are going to understand why we have Peace today, Peace Mitchell and Kate Garner's interview. They are stellar women. I am still blown away after meeting them, the Women Changing the World awards and what they do. I cannot believe that they do it. But we are here to learn from them so that you too can do it. And this is the Play Big theme. So who else to interview apart from these amazing ladies? So they are founders, visionaries. They're just unstoppable force for good behind this global women's empowerment. And Stellar Woman is about women's empowerment. So, Peace, tell us, who is Peace Mitchell?
So, I am first and foremost, I'm a mother, I'm a woman, I am an entrepreneur, I'm a dreamer, I love to travel, and I love people, and I love being around women, incredible women doing big things. So, yeah, you put all of that together, and that's who I am.
Oh, fantastic. There are lots of things that we have in common. I really love women's light. It just brightens me and gives me so much hope for the world. Thank you for doing all the work that you do. So, unfortunately, we are missing Kelly because of the child being sick, but Peace is going to be able to fill us in, and we believe she knows everything Kat would have said anyway. So, so, can you tell us how this, what did you actually dream as a child? We always want to go back to childhood and tap into that. What did you dream of becoming?
I guess I always dreamed of making a change in some way as a child. And as a child, I dreamt of being a teacher and working with children and changing the world through empowering young minds. And then I did actually grow up and become a teacher. I studied teaching at university, and I realized that I could make a difference for 1 year in a child's life, but the person who really made the most difference in a child's life was their mother. And so if I could work with the mothers of the world, then I could make an even bigger impact in children's lives.
That is amazing. What a great way to think about it. Once you go to the mother, then you go to you have more people to tap into.
Hmm.
Like, yeah, that is great. So it has always been a calling to make a change. Yes. And teaching is quite a powerful way to do this. Yeah, very good. Was there a defining childhood moment that shaped your desire to empower women? Was there a particular moment that you can think about?
I think I've always been a leader. And so I remember as a child getting all of the girls in my neighborhood together and starting a club that boys weren't allowed to be part of. I guess that's kind of the defining moment of girl power, all coming together and having our space and creating community and doing things together. As well as that, I had role models as a child. My parents were friends with a lady who was a teacher who traveled all over the world, and she would come back from her trips and tell us these incredible stories of the people that she'd met in India and in America and all in different parts of Europe and in Asia. And I was always very inspired by her and her stories. And I think my calling to want to do things at a global level comes from the influence of that at a really early age and hearing her incredible stories about the world.
Oh, wow, that's fascinating. Yeah, especially at a young age. So you started to see yourself doing exactly traveling and making that global impact. Oh, that's great. So did you grow up in environments that encouraged you to actually go out and dream big, or was it different for you?
Uh, I guess in a way, I mean, my father had his own small business. He grew plants and he didn't have a big business, but he always thought differently. He always did things differently. And I think that that mindset encouraged me to think differently as well and not be afraid of being different from everybody else and doing things my own way. My mother was a trailblazer as well. She was very bright, was dux of her school in year 11, but dropped out of school and never finished high school. And then had to go back and do further studies. And she was in her 40s when she got her degree as an accountant and started her accounting business. So she was very much a very strong role model and well respected in the community and had a very successful business as well. She's retired now. But I think that both of their influence, so my dad's mindset of thinking differently and doing his own thing and not worrying about what everyone else thought, was very influential. But and then my mum's career drive as well and determination to create a successful business played a big part in showing me the way that, it's possible to do things differently and create whatever life you want. It doesn't matter how old you are or what your dreams are, that you should go for it.
Oh my goodness, that is being lucky. I today believe it's lucky because then many of us have the other way around where
Mhm.
it's nothing to show you that people are able, yes, to have parents who are bold and doing things differently, and especially mom who's able to go for her dreams. She pulls out, but then goes back. That is powerful. It sends a clear message to the child not to ever give up. Yeah. You can stop, but for a moment, just a moment. Yeah. Oh, that's very good. So, was there anything that you felt that in your process of growing up that you had to break through any aspect that maybe wasn't initially within you or within the environment that was provided? Anything that was a limiting belief in any way?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that journey is always continuing, but the feeling of self-doubt and um, limiting beliefs around the imposter syndrome and all of those things have been something that I've had to work through uh, the whole time. Even, now as a business owner, there's moments of doubt, like, can I do this? Is this going to work? Am I risking everything? Am I going to lose everything? And so I think working through fear and overcoming fear and tapping into courage has been a big part of my journey. And I think for anyone who is successful, that they've had to face that and go through that and overcome those feelings of self-doubt and imposter syndrome, to really step into their confidence and courage and to be more successful.
Amazing. Thank you very much. So I know that we are talking about play big, and there is a wide spectrum of things that you're doing. I don't even know if actually I'm going to be able to say all of them. With Women Changing the World, and we're looking at summits, awards. We're actually looking at Ozimam Pranas.
Mm.
Those are awards as well. We are looking at a women's business school. We are looking at Women Changing the World Press Publishing. Uh, God, what else am I missing? Because I believe there are just so many things here. Can you just expand on the breadth of the
Yeah.
things that you do? Because I don't think I
Yeah, of course. So we do a lot of things, but I guess at the heart of it, it's all about supporting women and providing a platform for women to share their voice and share their message. And we believe that investing in women is the most powerful way to change the world. We believe that women hold all of the answers to the problems that the world's facing. However, they're blocked by all sorts of barriers. So that could be self-doubt, as I talked about. It can be access to capital. It can be, lack of opportunities to talk about what they're doing and get that support to get their ideas off the ground. And there's this feeling that you have to do it all alone, whereas actually you can ask for help and get people to help you. And so, yeah, at the heart of everything we do is that it's elevating women. But along the way, our journey and our business has evolved over time. So we started Osmompreneur in 2009. So the Osmompreneur Awards have been running for 16 years this year, and they're all about celebrating Australian mum entrepreneurs. So they are well known in Australia now, and we've recognised thousands of incredible mums running businesses in Australia through Osmompreneur. But what we recognised through running the Osmompreneur Awards was that every year we had a category called Women Changing the World or Women Making a Difference Award. And this category was always the most popular. This was the category that most women were like, I want to be known for that. What I'm doing. I started it because I wanted to make a difference in the world.
Yeah.
And so we recognized that there would be women all over the world
Yeah.
who were changing the world in all kinds of ways,
Mm.
and that no one was really recognizing them or giving them a platform. And
Yeah.
so the Women Changing the World Awards, Katy and I, in partnership with Dr. Tererai Trent, established the Women Changing the World Awards. And our first year was 2023. We launched those awards. So that's been growing incredibly quickly over the last 3 years, and something we're really excited about and proud of. As well as that, we have Women Changing the World Press. We've published 12 books now, and around 300 authors. We've sold over 20,000 copies of our books,
Wow.
and we have authors from all over the world and from all sorts of different backgrounds and nationalities, and from rural and remote places, and people with disabilities. And so we have really beautiful representation in those books, and that's really important to us. We've got a really strong commitment to diversity and inclusion and representation. And so with our anthologies, we know that different people will be reading those books, and women will relate to different stories within there. They'll recognize someone who has had a similar upbringing to them, or similar experiences, or overcame similar fears and doubts to them. And they'll connect with those stories in a really powerful way. So yeah, we're really passionate about Women Changing the World Press and amplifying women's voices through their stories. What else are we doing? So the Women's Business School, we launched the Women's Business School in 2016 because we recognized a need for dedicated business education that was flexible and accessible for women, particularly for mums running businesses, because mums running businesses, I think, are the busiest people in the world. They are raising young children, they are running businesses, they're looking after all of their customers, their orders, they're doing all of the marketing and promotion. But they don't always have all of the skills required to run a business. Not everybody has a business degree. And even if you did get a business degree back in the old days, everything's changing all the time. I mean, social media changes so frequently. And so the Women's Business School was designed to give those foundations of business. So sales, marketing, finances, social media, PR, partnerships and collaboration, how to scale your business, all of those things in a 6-month course. And the connection and support as well. So we had mentors that would work with the women, and then, of course, networking with the other women in the cohort. So we have actually paused the Women's Business School at the moment because we're developing an app and we're streamlining the whole program. So we'll be able to roll it out globally to reach and help even more women. But we have had 500 graduates through the Women's Business School, incredible women running amazing businesses. I think that's mostly what we're doing.
Wow.
We are doing a lot of things. We've recently launched licensing opportunities as well, so that women all over the world can host the Women Changing the World Awards in their own regions. We're super excited about that. It is brand new. We're still in talks with the first five licensee people who've applied, but I think in the next, 12 months to 2 years, we're going to be seeing more and more Women Changing the World awards happening all over the world. And that is super exciting to see that happening and giving those women the opportunity to lead their community and celebrate the women in their community.
That is amazing. That's a
Thank
lot of
you.
work, great impact in the world. That is really amazing. Over 20,000 books and enabling women to share their stories, their light with others. And these are global women. We're not talking about just one area. And you're talking about also 500 graduates.
Yes.
Over 500. That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow,
Yes.
that's a lot of impact. And now I think our listeners can tell, okay, why is a peace with you here? And Katie, so you can see that this is the impact that you're doing. This is big scale. So there's a lot for us to learn from you and how you're playing big. So how did you I think you talked about the business school. You've been able to explain to us how everything evolved to where you are today and the reasons that were sparking. All of these things is all about bringing out women, you pinning down that women are going to be the reason for the change that you want to see. So, if you look at it, how did your partnership come about
So
with
Katie and I are sisters. So we grew up together. We understand each other really well. I think sometimes partnerships are difficult if people don't know each other well. They think they know each other well, but perhaps they don't. Whereas Katie and I know each other so well, like I can tell when she needs to go and have a cup of tea and have a break, and she can tell when I'm starting to get cranky and need to go and take a break as well. And I think that, that unspoken understanding of each other and each other's needs
yeah,
really has been so valuable. The other thing that really works for us is early on, I think because we work with so many women, but one of our winners of the Osmompreneur Awards was two best friends. And they told us that what worked for them was, when one needed to take a break, even if that was 6 months or 12 months, the other one would say, sure, no problem, I'll step up. And knowing that, they would need a break some other time. And so there was never this, well, oh well, you worked 8 hours on Monday, so I've got to work 8 hours Tuesday. Like there was never any of that. And so that kind of unwritten understanding that we've both got each other's backs, and if one of us needs to take time off for whatever reason, that the other one will step up. And we've been in business together for 16 years. And across that time, we've both had babies at different times. We've moved interstate at different times. We've traveled internationally. And there's been times when we have said to the other one, I need to take this time. I'm going to have some time off. And we've each said to each other, that's no problem at all. I will step up and keep things running until you're ready to come back. And so I think that has been the secret to our success as a partnership of just always supporting each other, being there for each other, listening to each other. We do sometimes disagree on things, but we listen to each other with kindness and compassion, and we resolve it. We're able to get through most things. And I think that sometimes that's where it's difficult for friends. If a friend gives you feedback, like if you've designed something and your friend says, I'm not sure about that, it doesn't look very good, then you might get offended.
yeah.
Whereas if my sister says that to me, I'm like, oh, okay, I can change that. So it's good being in business with each other. And we also have very complementary skills. So Katie has a background in event management. So
Yeah.
all of the events that we run, she's really great at finding the venues, at managing the budget, at the ticketing, at the website. She does all of the tech for us as well. Whereas, I'm a teacher, so I've got all of those kind of organizational skills, the speaking skills, working with people, all of those sort of things. And working together, those skills complement each other. So we do
Wow.
make a good team.
That's amazing. That's so beautiful. Everyone must be wishing. Wish I could get that. I could have Katy as well. Please. I could have a peace in my life. I could have a Katy in my life. Someone that
Mhm.
knows very well. I love that you talk about kindness and compassion with each other, really bringing about understanding, and you can take time off. The fact that you've had children
Mhm.
in between both of you and being where you are, that is a lot for us to like stop and think, what? Wow. That is really great. Well done with that. And looking at your complementary skill set as well, I know that the other brings in something else and you two bring in something else. That's really great. We can understand that that's why you are such a success. That's why you are such a success. Yes, indeed. So today we are looking at playing big again. What does it look to you personally, playing big? And in this global context, what does it mean in the global context of women's empowerment?
I think for me, playing big means dreaming without limits. And in my early days in business, I used to get overwhelmed by the business and all of the things that you have to do. You know, there's so many things you've got to do to run the business. And I used to think that if I played smaller, if I kept my dreams small, that
Yeah,
it would be easier. But actually, it's not. It's not easier. It's just as much work to run a small business as a big business. It's just about how you organize things and prioritize things.
yeah,
And so, working through that limiting belief and realizing that I had permission to play bigger and giving myself the permission to play bigger and dream bigger, I think was a real game changer. And we've had a calling, we've been working in Australia for a really long time, but I was feeling more and more called to work at a global level. And so when we launched the Women's Business School in 2016, we could have called it the Osmompreneur Academy because we had a very established brand with Osmompreneur and that made sense. It could be part of the Osmompreneur brand. But even back then, we were like, no, we want to do things at a global scale. We want to build a 100-year company. We want to have something that women all over the world want to be part of. And so we started just dreaming bigger and dreaming about what a global business school would look like. And when we named it the Women's Business School, it was intentionally a standalone brand and separate from Osmompreneur. And then with the Women Changing the World Awards, that was global from day one. And yeah, we're so proud of what we've created together with Tererai with the Women Changing the World Awards. It's such a special community of women, and we're uncovering incredible women from all over the world, including yourself, Stella. You're one of our winners this year.
yeah.
Um, so amazing to uncover women like you who are doing big things and amplifying other women's voices and giving women opportunities and a community to connect and learn from each other.
Yeah, it was amazing to really discover these awards and yeah, very much honored and thrilled with everything else. Oh, thank you for that. You're really such a big dreamer, a big visionary. And the other thing is really an action taker because that is where most people can dream. But
Hmm.
to go into action, I think that's where we are really concerned about women. Yes, dreaming big for you, you're able. Also, there are people who don't enable themselves to
Mm,
dream big.
yeah,
Yeah,
permission.
yeah,
Hmm.
exactly. Giving yourself permission to actually dream big. It's just a dream. And you feel like I've run vision board workshops and people just say, can I do that? Women, real mature women. Can I put that on my board? And they're like, oh God, it's just on your board. And you feel someone else has to tell you what to put on your vision board. Oh,
Yeah.
travel the world. Oh, can I do that? Can I put it on my vision board? You're like, that
Yes, yes, you can. I think the other thing you were talking about taking action. Taking action is scary. Particularly, you know, if you're a perfectionist, and I tend towards the perfectionist streak as well. But I remember hearing a speaker talk about business and playing big, and she talked about science. And when you do science, it's an experiment. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But that's okay because you learn something from doing the experiment and then you try the experiment again with different conditions until you get the outcome you're looking for. And so when I heard that, that was a real game changer for me. I was like, well, I'll try this. And if it doesn't work, that's okay. It was just an experiment and I'll try something different. And I think that's been a game changer for playing big as well. But giving myself permission to fail. The experiment might not work, and that's okay. So that's been huge.
I think that is so huge. I also read it in a book and I was blown away. I thought, what if we thought about the world like scientists?
Yes, it's an experiment. That's okay.
It's okay. I think we
It's
get
okay to fail.
attached, peace. I think we get attached. Maybe there are attachments in there. What would it mean?
Yes, I think so. And I think our emotions, we're very connected to our dreams and our ideas. And so if something doesn't work, it can be really devastating. Um, and that's okay too. And it's okay to grieve things and move on, and grow and do something differently and something better. And so, yeah, I think we have to allow ourselves the grieving process. It's okay to be sad. And I remember in 2020 when the whole world went into lockdown, and we've been running our beautiful awards as an in-person event for many, many years. And in Australia, particularly, the community would look forward to it all year and they'd buy new dresses and get all dressed up, and we'd all fly to be together every single year as a community. And so in 2020, when we couldn't have that, I just remember being so devastated and crying for 3 days. And then my community rallied around me and they were like, it's okay, we can do this as an online Zoom awards presentation and we'll all get dressed up and it'll be the best online awards announcement ever. And it was. We all got together, everybody all over Australia. They all came dressed up. Some of them got their kids dressed up. Their families were around them in the Zoom room and tuned in from all over Australia. And it worked and it was really good. And so, I did have to go through that moment of grieving, though, of being sad, of letting go of my dream of what I had always imagined it would be like, and then give myself permission to reimagine it as something completely different and then work towards how to do that. But taking it step by step and letting go of that attachment is a big part of that.
Hmm, gosh. I'm just I just feel like this is also another big game changer. You're telling us
Mhm.
to feel that it's okay to be sad, to allow that moment of grieving.
Yes, absolutely. And I think, ultimately the Women Changing the World Awards might not have happened in the same way that they have if it hadn't been for 2020 and everything being locked down and us not being able to be together. Because then we were like, well, if we can run the Osmompreneur Awards from Zoom, why can't we do it globally? People all over the world
Yeah,
can come together on Zoom. It doesn't have to just be Australia.
yeah.
And so it did then give us permission to dream bigger. And it wouldn't have happened if we hadn't have had that failure where we had to cancel that event. And we'd actually sold $100,000 in tickets that we had to refund back to everybody, which was one of the other reasons I cried for 3 days. Um, but at the end of the day, it became something even better. So yeah, it all worked out in the end. And sometimes you have to have the trust and the faith that it is going to work out and allow yourself to grieve, work through that, but only give yourself 3 days. Don't keep crying for 2 weeks. You pick yourself up, get back and get going again.
3 days, okay? Self up.
You can
Yeah,
cry for 3 days, but then like, come on, let's get it together. Let's keep
yeah,
going.
yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And you also talk about giving yourself permission to reimagine it. So there is a
Yes.
process here, grieving process, giving yourself permission to reimagine it and letting go.
Mhm.
Because I feel this is where most people then stay longer, and you're telling us we could give ourselves permission for 3 days. After that, take it. So what if
Yeah.
someone it feels like they can't do it? What would you advise them?
So, look, and we didn't do it on our own. So, I'm very fortunate to have my sister. But as well as that, we've got incredible women all around us. So, I do remember at that time ringing people up and saying, "Oh my gosh, what are we going to do? We've lost everything. I don't know how we can do this. It's not going to work as a Zoom event." And they just held space for us and threw ideas around with us and listened to our ideas. And so I think for people who are in that stuck place, you don't have to be stuck by yourself. Call someone up, have a chat with somebody who understands, and just someone you can even like brainstorm ideas with or use as a sounding board to talk about what could work. So I think that's a big part of the process as well, is asking for help. And, a lot of people think it's weak to ask for help. We have been taught from a young age through school that you have to work independently and do it on your own, but it's not true. You can ask for help. There's people who will help you and want to help you, and you will get much further through partnerships and collaboration and asking for help than you will by trying to figure out everything on your own. So I think that's another big part of it too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Definitely, we can see asking for help. And someone might look at the fact that you have all these children and you definitely have husbands. So looking at all of that, how does it work? Is it that you have very supportive husbands? Because other people are in places where they think, oh, my husband doesn't even support me. So maybe I'm out of maybe it's not for me then. And I don't know how many children you have and how many Katy has, and just the dynamics of managing it all. As you even looking for help for business, there's looking for
Mm,
help for even the children themselves.
mhm.
Can you tell us more about that, the whole
Yes.
management, the breadth of all of it all?
Yeah, so I have four children. So yeah, my three elders have moved out of home now. But when I had four children at home, it's a lot. It's a lot of work. And I guess for my husband and I, we've always had a pretty equal relationship, I guess, in that I've I remember from when we were first dating and when we got engaged, telling him that I wasn't ever going to be a traditional wife who just stayed at home and looked after children. If that's the kind of wife you want, you need to go elsewhere now because I'm never going to be that person. I
Yeah,
was always very ambitious and
yeah,
driven and
yeah,
wanting to do and having dreams and goals and wanting to do big things.
yeah.
So there was that understanding. But as well as that, we're a team. So sometimes I'm really busy, like in the lead up to an awards event, I'll be a lot busier than normal. I normally have very good boundaries around my time, but in that, the week or two before an event, I am working later. I am tired. There's my to-do list is way longer. And so he will step up and cook all the dinners, do all of the laundry, do the school run for me, all of those things.
Wow.
Because he knows that when he wants to do something, when he needs to go away for work for a week, that I'll step up and do all of those things as well. And so I think it's about having that conversation with your partner and your kids as well about, well, sometimes I need you to support me in achieving my dreams, and I'll support you in achieving your dreams as well. But we can't do it alone. We have to be a team and work together on this. And so I've encouraged all of my kids to help out as well. They help cook dinners and help around the house. But at different times, I've also employed people to help us. So I've had a cleaning lady from time to time who'll come fortnightly. I've had an au pair who would come and look after my daughter when she was a baby so that I could work. So yeah, getting help looks it's not always just for the business, it's help running your family as well, when you have kids and all the demands of your personal life as well.
Oh, amazing. So You're almost showing us that women can have it all. Because it's that question. But having a supportive, it's good to have a supportive partner, and that's really great that you have a an amazing husband, and as well as pulling up your kids. But also, what I've felt that was underneath there was having a straight conversation, because sometimes you have the need, but you're not articulating it.
Yes, I think it is. It's all about being clear in your communication. This is what I want. This is what I expect. And I will give the same to you.
Yeah.
It can't just go one way. It's not fair for a husband just to expect the wife to not have any dreams and ambitions.
Mhm.
And he be the only one who can have dreams and ambitions. And that's not fair.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I do encourage other people to think about their relationship as a team. You're a team working together. I think it's great role modeling for your children as well. So I have three boys, and I hope that one day when they have partners and families, that they are able to support their partners in that way as well and give them freedom to follow their dreams too.
Oh, wow. Yeah, definitely. And the kids are learning a lot from you and how you're doing it together, as husband and wife. So we know that the other thing that I also learned from Katy, she is a TEDx speaker and a chair of Tererai International. Well, tell us about all of those aspects and how you merge them into this whole aspect, because we're already overwhelmed by what you do.
Oh, it was my dream to do my TED Talk for many, many years. I do lots of public speaking because we've been running events for 16 years. And so speaking on stage it's no big deal for me, but it was so interesting when it came to my TED Talk. Oh my gosh, I tied myself up in knots over that. I was so nervous and I just had so many limiting beliefs to break through to get to do my TED Talk. It was crazy. And I was not expecting that, but I think, TED is such a prestigious brand, and to be a TED speaker, you have to be at a high level. The whole concept is ideas that matter. Like, is my idea going to be
Yeah.
different enough? What are people going to think? Is it going to be okay? And so I went through all of those fears and doubts in my head. And then the other thing was there's no prompts. You're not supposed to have palm cards. You can't have a lectern where you're reading a script. You have to know it off by heart. And so my greatest fear would be that I would get halfway through and then I would just go blank and I wouldn't remember my words. So I did practice a lot for my TED Talk and I did know it off by heart in the end. But unfortunately, on the night, one of the other speakers, that happened. They forgot. They got the whole way through and they got to the end of their speech and they blanked. They couldn't remember the last line. I felt so bad for them. But mine went well, so
Oh,
that was good.
fantastic. Congratulations.
And I felt, I mean, I did a lot of visualization. I'm a little bit spiritual as well. And so I visualized my whole community of women all standing behind me as I gave my TED talk, and I could feel that energy and their power. And then it wasn't about me, I was speaking for all of us together. My talk was on the connection economy, which is really about the sisterhood and working together to all of us growing each other's businesses and lifting each other higher. So, yeah, it was really beautiful. And then you asked about being the chair of Tererai Trent International, and I am so honored to be the chair of TTI and work with Dr. Tererai Trent. For people who don't know Tererai, she is an incredible woman. She grew up in rural Zimbabwe, and she had a dream which was seemingly impossible, a dream of getting her high school education first, and then traveling to America, and then studying in the United States, getting her bachelor degree, getting her master's degree, and then getting her PhD. And, she was married very young. She was 14 when she was married. She had four children by the time she was 18. But she had this dream and she was so determined to do it. And she did it. She achieved that. And if you've heard her speak, she talks about her mother said to her, "It's great that you've got these dreams for yourself, but your dreams in this life will have more meaning when they're tied to the betterment of your community." And so she made a promise that she would achieve these things and then she would come back and make a difference in her own community in rural Zimbabwe. And that is exactly what she did. She's incredible. She now supports 14 schools in rural Zimbabwe. She has gardens at the schools that provide a source of income as well as food for the kids for lunch each day. They have fresh running water as well. She does incredible projects, and I'm very proud to support her in this work in Zimbabwe. And I'm going across again in a couple of weeks' time to go and help her with some of the projects that she's working on. So I'm very excited to be going back to Zimbabwe, and it just Africa has such a special place in my heart, and I've really loved getting to know the people in Terrorai's village and hear about their dreams as well. And we have supported over 60 kids to go through college and university in Zimbabwe as well. And so these are kids who, without the support of Tererai Trent International, wouldn't have had the opportunity to get tertiary education. So it is really incredible work, and I'm very proud to support Tererai and the whole community in making this possible for these kids.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. That's great work. I know that I first got her, we published her story. I think I don't remember which issue, a long time after getting to
Mhm.
know it on Oprah. And it just blew my mind. I had to really publish this. So I told her about it, that someone contacted us actually after we published it from her team, but she didn't know about that. What I remember is her telling it this time at the Women Changing the World. It
Mhm.
had a different part, and it was, I think, because this time she was almost performing it out. The other Oprah, she was just being interviewed, so she was sitting in
Yeah.
one place. But this time, you could even visualize it was a journey. Like you're really on the
Hmm.
journey with her as she goes through this transformation, and to be where she is, the impact, the things you're talking about, 14 schools. Wow. Yeah.
Yes. 40,000 kids, and that's one person can make a difference. One person with one dream can make a difference in a real tangible way. And the difference of those kids' lives now will impact future generations beyond those 40,000 kids infinitely. So it is incredible. And I think, if you want to talk about playing big, Terra is an incredible example of what happens when you give yourself permission to dream bigger
Wow.
and yeah, and imagine what's possible. So yeah,
I
pretty
think
exciting.
exactly the way she gives her dream, and the fact that you are talking about that big, dreaming big, just giving
Yeah,
yourself permission and dreaming big, and look at the impact that
yeah,
she's making apt today, just because she was able to dream big but also take action towards that dream.
yeah, yeah.
Makes
As
it
well as that, it's asking for help too. She's had people supporting her and helping her all every step of the way. In her story, when she talks about it, her brother helped her learn to read and write initially. And then when she had her dream to travel to America, the women in the village all came together and they were saving money for her and all put it together to help her pay for her flight to go to the United States. And and now with TTI, she's got a board, and I'm part of that board. And there's donors from all over the United States and the world who all are part of helping her with that dream. So I think, have a dream and give yourself permission to have that dream, but don't think that you have to do it on your own because you don't. There's people around you who will help you achieve it. So don't worry about how you're going to achieve that dream. Just let yourself believe that you can do it, take that first step, and then ask for help.
take the first step and ask for help. That's
Yes.
amazing. And there's a way I get somehow, I found myself becoming attached to people I find on the path working with Dr. Tererai. There was another interview by Kinky Books, she mentioned, and I just said, that's why I was attracted to you in the first place. That's why I'm listening to this
Mhm.
interview. I felt like there was something about this woman. And then the next thing she talks about the fact that she's working with Dr. Terry Trent, and then she gives part of her story. And then there's also another person. And I thought, oh wow, there's something about her and the work that she's done and the attraction, the help that she's getting along the way and playing big and bringing about more impact and impact in the world. Yeah.
Yeah,
So all of you now doing it all together. And yeah, it's just amazing, really amazing.
thank you.
And
Thank you.
all of us looking at it as a global impact now. You
Yeah.
she's coming here for the awards, you going there for her work. So it's just amazing how the world has become one, and if we can keep looking at it that way.
Yeah, and all of us helping each other and supporting each other and amplifying each other's voices. You know, you're giving me a platform to talk about this work as well, where we're supporting each other. You came to our event.
Yeah.
And so it's this, and the connections that the other women that you met at the event, and then you're interviewing them as well. And
Yeah.
I think all of us doing our part in our own way collectively is really powerful. And it really, this is how we change the world by supporting each other, by giving each other opportunities and collaborating. And
Yeah.
yeah, I love it. I love that we get to live in these times where we are able to connect to people who live in all different parts of the world and do different things, but we connect at that heart level.
Exactly, exactly.
Yes.
Look, it's evening for you, it's morning for me, and we are able to do it. It's just great life experiencing it. I keep thinking, what will my grandma be thinking about?
Oh my
The
gosh.
world I am in today couldn't have been anything next to what she imagined, and
Yeah.
in that world, and giving women, making sure that you are playing, and also talking to women that you would never have imagined. And that's the thing I talked about, just giving me the platform to be part of the panel and looking at the women in front of me, and I think, okay, you're in this space now.
Yeah.
You're in a new space. And it's all about taking that step, that initiative and say, oh wow, this is where I'm going. And when you find women who are incredible and powerful, you feel your light goes up, your heart widens, and your ability to see the world even in a bigger way.
Hmm.
Yeah, like when I see your work, I just keep thinking, oh wow, like then I want to take it to and everyone else to see the possibilities these women are doing and just say, wow, you better get up. You better get up and, and do something. Whatever your
Yeah,
limiting belief, and especially now when we talk about children, for me, it's taking also women who are saying, but I have 4 children. And
that's okay.
And then it's becoming a disenabling factor. But then when you demonstrate a woman doing it, even at a way wider scale, you're telling them to start something, but this is now even bigger, and they have 4 children. That is now demystifying whatever it is that they are talking about. But even everything starts with me. Even me seeing you do what you do, I start to say, okay. Okay, something. And for me, there's a lot of learning. I've already felt like I've got a lot. I've got a lot from the interview. I've really got a lot because there are notes where I'm also tied somewhere. But just already in this interview, I felt like, okay, now there's going to be a new push.
I think that's the power of bringing women together and women with from all different places and all different perspectives and all different lives and experiences. I think when we put everybody together in the room and give them the opportunity to connect and talk and build relationships and laugh and become friends, something really powerful happens. And it expands everybody's mind. And we all have the opportunity to think about things differently and see things differently and see other perspectives and realize that, the way we're doing things might not be the only way that's available and out there. And there's so many other possibilities and ideas and dreams and things that we might not have even thought of before we come together with these women. And that's why, yeah, that's why I just love what we do and bringing women together to have these kind of conversations. It's really powerful. I love it.
It is powerful, and I'm glad that you know because at times you're doing things and you don't know. It is powerful, and people just need to come for these awards and these summits to see what it is that you actually do. And I've got connections from there. I know someone who's running an event in-person event, and some of the people they just met on that. And the awards. But now they're in Amsterdam, the Americans, they're attending that in-person event. So you can see the connections are happening. And she just told me yesterday, do you know that I'm on so and so's event in Amsterdam? I'm like, wow,
So
that's
good. Yeah.
good. That is amazing. They're supporting each other to move things. We are all just now connecting. How can I get into your event? How can I do this? Yeah. So giving that platform is really powerful. It's a big
Yeah, I
way.
love that.
And the fact that you're talking about women changing the world.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, even that title just calls in the right kind of people, doesn't it? The women who believe that they can change the world, who are out there doing it. They are literally changing the world. There were some pretty incredible women in that room. There really were.
Very much,
Yeah.
very much, sir. So, I know that you wear lots of hats. We've talked about all of them, being an author, data publisher, event creator, all of these things. What role is more aligned to your soul's purpose? Is there a particular role?
Oh, I love everything. I love everything, but there's something special about connecting with women. So, conversations like this, so talking to women either via Zoom or in person, is what I love the most. So, yeah, I love working with our authors through the writing process. That's a really, really special part, that being creative together, the creative um, collaboration. I love that. And creating something new from scratch that didn't exist before. So I love our books that, we come up with the title and the cover design and call in authors and then create something brand new through the books. So I really love that. But I love the awards as well. I love the idea of shining a spotlight on somebody who is an unsung hero who's been working hard behind the scenes for years and years and years, but somebody's taken the time to notice them and notice the work that they're doing and recognize them. And sometimes you see a change within someone. They stand up taller and they see themselves differently when they receive an award. And there's something really powerful about that. It's as if we put a mirror up to them and say, this is the magnificent and incredible woman who we see. And now you can see that as well, that the work you're doing is so important and so valuable. Whereas sometimes, when we're working and we're just, day to day and in the drudgery of it, we can't see that. And so giving somebody an award is showing them who they are and how amazing they are and the potential for even brighter brilliance that they have. And so I've seen that transformation happen and the motivation that it gives them to go out and to play bigger and dream bigger and do more. So yeah, I really love that as well.
Yeah, amazing. I think that woman, especially at the end, you're talking about me. Because it
We all need that reassurance and validation that we're on the right path. And yeah, but I see it happen. It happens. People are like, And I don't know whether you noticed at the awards, but they would come onto the stage and they would be shaking and crying. And I'd hug them and I'd say, congratulations. And I'd take a breath and now step up to the microphone. This is your moment. Yeah, it's really special to be part of that, to know that it's had such an impact on them and to see them, yeah, really step up and give that powerful speech on stage.
That's really powerful. It's amazing because even me, a woman, just sent a messenger on my Facebook and said, "There, these awards, Stella, the work you do." In fact, I connected with her just yesterday. We managed to do a Zoom call because we've been chatting at the end. But and I said, "What?" I kept thinking, someone sees my work and feels I'm worthy. I just thought, what? I'm more than an award. She says, Stella, these things, this is you. This is you. I've just got these awards, and I think this is you. And even when you called out my name, if you can see by recording, I actually was just shaking. I was shaking for a moment. And when people stood up, I thought, oh my goodness, I couldn't even move. I was just hearing my name, and I thought, what? So it is really a big thing that you do and the experience. That's why I said the woman you're describing in that moment about was me because you just think you're just doing whatever you're doing, whatever impact, but for someone else to feel, to recognize it, it's powerful. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is powerful. And I'm excited also to be part of the authorship and connecting, putting
Yeah.
my stories in the midst with other women. That's really exciting, really exciting.
Yes. Yes, I can't wait for your chapter in Begin It Now. It's going to be
Yes,
exciting.
that is going to be really
Mm.
exciting. Thank you. And so, what we want to also learn is, I think you've talked about it, and I think that's a bit that I've captured a lot. You in moving from being a local movement, mom entrepreneur, also mom entrepreneur, to now women changing the world and
Mm.
running it from different parts of the world as well. You're not based in Australia running all of these things, or just London, and we now know we're going to be in Vancouver. That's exciting as well. Um, we want to know, what is this mindset aspect that allows you, that makes you move from being local, seeing yourself small, playing maybe in your hometown, to going to this global
I
scale.
think, yeah, I think for Katie and I, we live in a really small town. It's a population of about 8,000, and it's an 18-hour drive to our nearest capital city. So we're very far away from anything really. And
Wow.
we have a small town. So from day one of when we started our first business, Osmompreneur, we couldn't just have a local business. It was national from day one. It was all of Australia because we didn't have enough customers locally. And we had to do something online and create an online community. And so I think that even though it's a barrier, being so far away from everything, we don't have the networking in-person opportunities that people in the cities have. And it costs so much more with flights and accommodation anytime we do want to do something. But it was our superpower because whereas other people, if we had have been living in Melbourne or Sydney, we probably would have started a business for Melbourne mums in business or Sydney mums in business. We had to be national from day one. And I think because we knew that we could live in a faraway place but still hold a big event in Melbourne and Sydney, well, why not London? Why not Paris? Why not New York City? Why not Harare? And so I think it was our superpower, living where we lived, having to push ourselves out of our comfort zone and go national from day one with Osmompreneur and then global from day one with Women Changing the World Awards. We just had to. But also we had that mindset that if it doesn't work out, it's going to be okay. It's an experiment. And so for the first time we ran the awards, it was like, if we only get 30 people to come to that event, that's okay. It can be a small event. It doesn't have to be a massive stadium, full stadium full of people to be a success. We can recognize a small number of people in the first year and then a few more in the second year and continue to grow. And so I think that mindset really helped as well, that it's okay to start small
Yeah.
and get bigger with time to have that organic growth. And this year we had women from 55 countries. It was incredible. Whereas in our first year we had probably 7 different countries. So we allow ourselves permission to grow organically and to know we have that knowing, I think, because we've been in business so long. We remember the first year that we did the Osmompreneur Awards. We didn't have 500 people at the dinner that year. It was probably 100. And so we've grown over time. And so when we were looking at the global stage, it was with the understanding that it would take us time to reach different markets because we're completely unknown in lots of places, and that was okay. We could start small and give ourselves permission to just grow step by step and be confident and know that we would be successful. I knew that this would be a good idea. The title, the Women Changing the World Awards, I knew that that would call in the right people and women who were doing big things. And so we did have to trust. Sometimes you just have to trust that things are going to work out and also be okay if it doesn't work out because not everything works out and be okay to let go of things that don't work out. And I think that's a big part of the mindset for us to be able to go global and hold events in different places and bring together women from all over the world.
Fantastic. The aspect of trusting, if you're coming from wherever you're coming from and going, say, to Paris and London, and you haven't been in those countries, all you might think it's not going to go well. You might focus on but the fact that you're okay to just trust and still keep moving, that things will work out, even if it's completely a new place to you. Is it always a new place, or do you have someone that you know on the other side?
Sometimes we've been to a place before we hold an event there. So, for example, we held an event in New York City last year, but the year before that, we'd been over and we'd met with some of the Australian government representatives and the Australia America Association, and we'd had a look at a space that we thought would be a good venue to host the event. So we do try and have a little bit of a connection there somehow. That really makes a difference in helping get an event off the ground. But, not always. We don't always have the luxury of doing that, and we don't let that stop us from taking that step and giving things a try.
Yeah. Oh, wow. You don't
Mm,
let that stop you. Yes. Oh,
yeah.
that's a great mindset shift, something that actually just shifting you to be okay, taking it
Yeah.
as an experiment and also making sure that if it doesn't work out, you will let go.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. We wanted to hold an awards event in Saudi Arabia last year, but in the end, it didn't come together. But instead of cancelling the event, we ran it as an online announcement so that all of the winners had their opportunity to give their acceptance speech on Zoom and celebrate together in that way. So yeah, there's different things that we can do. It doesn't always go the way that you initially dreamed that it would or that you had hoped it would. But if you can find a solution, then you can keep going. So
Yeah.
I think that's important as well, that it's okay to pivot and make changes and do things differently.
Yeah. Pivot and do things differently. Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you. And when we look at all of this global scale, it involves coordinating teams, awards, these book launches, partnership. How do you manage it, the management of it? I
Yeah,
know you're
so
good
we
as partners, but because
yeah,
it's the
so
two of you, yes.
we have an incredible team who help us. who are based in Australia and the Philippines and the United States. And they support us behind the scenes, doing all kinds of things from helping us with our social media to helping us with the live streams to helping us with the events to answering people's questions to the admin to coordinating the judges and the whole judging process to coordinating the People's Choice voting and all of that. We do have an amazing team who support us in making everything happen. Um, because, yeah, there's no way that the two of us could just do everything on our own. I mean, the publishing, there's a whole publishing division as well. We have our editor and our formatter and the proofreader and then the printers. Like there's lots of other people who we work with and collaborate with to make all of the magic happen. So yeah, we love our team. They're incredible.
Yeah.
We had some of our team came with us to London, which was amazing, and other members of the team were based at home, but helping with things like the live stream in real time, even though it was middle of the night for them. They were there showing up for us. So yeah, we're very grateful for our team.
Oh, amazing. We can see what the team can do, making it happen on a big
Yes.
scale. Yes.
But I
Wow.
think delegating to your team is a learnt skill, though, as well. I think as entrepreneurs, we do tend towards perfectionism and we do believe that we're the only ones who can do things. And we are also often control freaks. And so letting go of that control and trusting somebody else to do things for your business can be really hard, and scary,
Mm,
but it's the only way that you can grow. You can't grow bigger if you keep trying to hold on to everything yourself. It's not possible. And I think something I've also learned is the importance of boundaries around your time as well. So giving yourself permission to switch off from work and trusting that your team have got you and your customers will still be there when you go back in the morning to reply to the emails. You don't need to be checking the emails all through the night, those kind of things as well. So I think that's really important too, having the team to support you and also having your wellness boundaries in place as well to make sure that you're looked after and you're not working yourself into the ground.
having boundaries. I think I like the fact that we're
Mm.
talking about those boundaries of work,
Mm.
because for a person who's playing big at the level that you're playing, I just seem to be like you might not have a time limit. You might just keep going and going all the time, but you seem to be emphasizing the aspect of boundaries, in terms of your time. Can you expand on that? How do you personally manage
Mm.
your time boundaries here to enable you to keep going?
Yeah, I think that's a really great topic to talk about, especially when we're thinking about playing big, because as entrepreneurs, we love what we do. I mean, my business is incredible. I work with incredible women all over the world, and I just love it. It lights me up, and I could do it 24/7. I could work all night, all weekend, all day, and I love it. But if I did that, and I did try to in the early days, um, I find that I start getting really run down and I stop loving it. I start resenting the business because I never get a break from it. It's like a bad relationship, a bad boyfriend that you don't want to go out with anymore. Um, and the other thing that happens is that when you get to that point where you're starting to resent the business
Yeah,
for it taking over your life and all of your time and everything, is that your customers pick up on that energy as well. So that's not good.
yeah,
You want to be showing up as excited and enthusiastic and in love with the business and wanting to help them and doing your best. And you can't do that if you're exhausted and you're burnt out.
yeah,
And so I've had strict boundaries around when I do work and when I don't work for a long time. I don't work after 3 p.m. So when the kids finish school, that's it. I'm done in the afternoon. And I don't work at night. I know a lot of people do, but I don't. That's my family time. That's my time for relaxing and unwinding. I don't work weekends either.
no
I have
way.
my weekends are really important and they're sacred. And so I literally turn off my laptop and I won't turn it back on till Monday. I've even got stricter and stricter with my boundaries, better and better with my boundaries. I delete all of my apps. So I delete Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest, my email app. It
Wow.
gets to 3 p.m. and I get rid of them off my phone every day. And sometimes I reinstall them the next day if I've got a promotion that I've got to put up, but then I delete them all again. And I don't check emails over the weekend. If someone emails me on the weekend, that's okay. I'll get back to them on Monday. It's going to be all right.
Wow.
There's rarely an emergency, and if there is an emergency, then they'll contact me by phone. They've
Yeah.
got, they can ring me if it's an emergency, but really, most things can wait till Monday.
Wow.
Um, and I think that's been a really important part of our success because you can work around the clock, but I don't think it's good for you, and I don't think it's good for your enthusiasm and your well-being and your mental health. And so being able to switch off completely and take a good break, it does allow you to come back refreshed and excited the next day. So it's hard sometimes to have those boundaries, but it is really important and it has been a game changer for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm.
I think you've given us.
It's scary. I know that it's scary for some people to think that they could just delete Instagram or delete their emails from their phone and not be checking them all the time. But
Wow.
it's good. People will still find you if they need you.
But also being able to you yourself to switch off, to know
Yeah.
that I'll come
Yeah.
back tomorrow morning or I'll come back on Monday for it.
Because otherwise we're just working all the time. Like I
That's
just
it.
would have my phone beside me. I'd be watching TV, but then every 5 minutes I'd be updating my email to see if anybody had emailed me all through the night. I'm like, no, I don't need to do that. Why am I doing that? And it was just a really bad habit. And I think a lot of people have these bad habits of having to check Facebook and Instagram and emails all the time for no reason. They don't actually need to.
Yeah. Yeah, they
Mm.
just check. It's just now a reflex. I'm seated here,
Yeah.
I have to check. Then I have to check. Some people are just like that now. They just keep checking. They don't have to
Yeah.
know have anything urgent, but they just have to keep checking.
Just keep an eye on everything. It's a bit like hypervigilance, when you're worried that something bad's going to happen
A
and you're
bit.
just
Yeah.
constantly checking to make sure everything's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we can actually let go of that, everything,
Exactly.
and know that everything is okay. It's okay.
Yeah, someone once said to me, "Oh, what if the customer wants me? What if, how can you
Yeah.
like
They
that?"
will wait a minute. It's okay.
Oh, well, but that's a new one. Really, the way you're switching off and yet playing big.
Yeah. It allows me to play big.
Because
I
what I
believe
would
that. I
think,
believe that.
what many would think, it means working 24/7 to play big.
Yeah.
And that's why they're scared. I
You
can't
know,
because it will
yeah.
tell.
At the start you talked about having it all. And
Yeah.
I think having it all means having time for yourself where you switch off.
Okay.
And
Okay.
that enables you to then have time for working as well, because I love working, but I
Yeah.
don't have to work constantly.
Yeah.
Mm.
I love that. Having it
Mm.
all, including having time for yourself.
Yeah, time's precious. It's important. And time with your family. You can't get that time back.
Yes, you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, now you see your children, you say they're out of to be with
Hmm.
them. That's that's time gone. So
Yeah.
you needed to have been present with them for that time as well, because now they've left the nest and yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh wow, that's for me, that's also huge, really. Having it all is also having time for yourself and the family. Um,
Yeah.
because you won't replace that time. Okay, so thank you for that. I know that you have had extraordinary women like the Duchess of York, Sarah Faxon, and Dr. Trent involved in this event. What does it take to engage people at that level, high level of influence? And how do you build such global relationships with such global um, change makers?
Mm. It is all about relationships. So I'm very fortunate. A close friend of mine is the publisher for the Duchess of York. So she publishes the Duchess of York's children's books. So we were able to connect with the Duchess through her. And it really is all about relationships. So we were introduced with the Duchess. The Duchess and Tererai are very good friends. The Duchess has been our biggest supporter from day one. We acknowledged her with the Golden Heart Award in our very first year, and she came to the dinner. And she just loved this idea of recognizing the unsung heroes, all those women out there who are doing incredible work. She does a lot of humanitarian work herself, a lot of work in the climate change space as well. And so she's very passionate about supporting anybody who's doing this kind of good work, but especially women. Um, and so, yeah, it's been wonderful working with the Duchess and providing that platform for her to connect with these women as well, because we're bringing together incredible women who she loves to meet as well. And for them to have the opportunity to meet her is a real honor as well. She's one of the most well-recognized, high-profile people in the world. And so we were very honored to have the Duchess of York joining us and supporting our work. It's amazing.
It was an honor to actually meet her as well. And although I'm in the UK, I used to just read about her just roughly, but this year I was surprised that it's the first time I think I read a post and someone had referred, it was about mental health. And I ended up going deeper into her work on Instagram,
Mm,
going deeper,
yeah.
deeper. And I thought, wow, this is amazing. So I decided to follow her. And then the next minute, it's the words. And I thought, wow, so I get to meet her. And since then, I'm following her work on LinkedIn. I'm really like, okay, this is a woman really playing big, not just being
Mhm.
in the title. She's doing a lot of work.
She really is. And she's faced so many challenges along the way, and the media have not supported her. And they don't tell the good stories about the incredible work she's doing. They focus on the negative a lot of the time. And so, yeah, she is amazing. She is an amazing role model and doing incredible work.
Ah, it's
Yeah.
amazing, really, to see the work that she does. I think you're right because we depend on the media a lot and we don't get to see what she does. And since for me that time, I'm now really like opening up and thinking, wow, she does this and then she does that. It's incredible.
Yeah. She's amazing.
Yeah. Okay, so we have learned something about building these, focusing on building these relationships. Um,
Mhm.
so I think we've done that. You've answered that question. I wanted to say, when you say that we are looking at your own personal fears here, there are times when we think that people who play big don't have fears. They just fearless. We want to know if you have had any fears yourself, any limiting beliefs, because there are lots of women who have fear of failure, we have fear of criticism, we have all of these fears surrounding us. You talked about the self-doubt around your TEDx, but we're also looking at your business generally. What fears have you had
Oh
and
my gosh, I've had
overcome?
so many fears. Yeah, the fear of failure, that was a huge one. Before had that idea that it was an experiment, that it was okay if it didn't work out,
Yeah,
I had this fixed idea that I couldn't put anything into the world unless it was going to be a success because it would be humiliating if it didn't work out. And I had to tell people, well, I said I was going to do this, but I'm not doing it now. That, and I had to let go of that fear,
yeah,
um, that people would think less of me if I didn't, if it didn't work out exactly the way that I thought that I would. And so that was a huge one to overcome that fear.
yeah,
I think perfectionism's in there as well. The fear of getting something wrong, the fear of making mistakes and people thinking that people's opinions, being worried about people's opinions. Not everyone's going to like you, but the right people will. And so letting go of that fear, the fear of rejection and the fear that people won't like you and the fear of, yeah, people being mean to you as
uh,
well. In the early days of Osmompreneur, we used to get a lot of backlash around the word mompreneur. People would say that it was, yeah, we were putting labels on women and all of these horrible things. And we had to let go of that and recognize that actually we were what the work we were doing was important because we were challenging that stereotype and really giving mums something to be proud of, that they were balancing work and family in a really positive way. And it was polarizing. Not everybody agrees with the word mompreneur, but for us, we felt that it was a really, yeah, a really valuable thing. So I think overcoming fears about what people are going to say, how people are going to react, fear of failure. I've had to work through all of those things. And I'm still working through things as well at the moment, um, in wanting to scale and do bigger things, and opening up licenses for the Women Changing the World awards. Like, there's a lot of fear. What if we get somebody and then they're not the right fit and we have to let them go? What's going to happen then? But I have to trust that no matter what challenges or obstacles come up, that I have the tools to navigate that and to have the hard conversations when I need to, and to pivot and make changes if I need to. And it's okay to make missteps and make mistakes along the way, as long as you lead with compassion and you always do your best and you always have the other person's best interests in heart as well. Even if things don't work out with somebody, even if there's conflict or a disagreement, you can still choose to always be kind and compassionate and end things amicably. So yeah, I think so many fears that I've had to work through to get to where I am today, and probably continue to work through some of those fears. But I feel like I've learned a lot of lessons along the way as well, which have helped me to play bigger and dream bigger and give things a go.
Fantastic. So when you talk about walk through them, are you walking through them by talking to yourself, or do you have like a coach? I know, of course, you have Katy and maybe the supportive husbands and more, but I want to know what you mean by walk through this thing.
Working through things. Uh, I I read a lot of personal development books. I have been going on retreats every year since 2016. I believe that retreats are a really important part of personal development, because we do work so hard in our business. We need that time to switch off and step away and work on ourselves. I do a lot of journaling as well each morning. I journal. I also I'm really lucky to have Tererai Trent as a friend and a mentor. So being able to talk to her about things that I'm going through, has been a game changer as well. So, and seeing her leadership in action, she's an incredible leader. So having her as a role model in navigating all kinds of challenges and navigating challenges alongside her as part of the board is also really powerful, in a way that I've learnt how to navigate my own challenges and overcome my own fears as well. So I think having incredible women around me, I gave the example earlier of those women who told us how their partnership worked, how they stepped up for each other. So I think all of that's been part of my growth and development and ability to work through and overcome my fears. Things and putting myself out of my comfort zone, things like doing my TED talk. Like, that was scary, but I did it. And I proved to myself that I could do it, even though it was really hard. Holding an event in London for the first time, that was scary, and I did it. You know, all of those things,
Yeah.
are taking you through. You have to face all of those fears to get through to the other side. It's compulsory. You can't stay in your comfort zone and do those things. And I think that business and entrepreneurship is certainly a really great way to develop your personal development and to overcome fears, because they just keep coming.
That is very, very true. I think I had Kiyosaki say that once you do business, you're in a spiritual game and you're in personal development anyway. You're going to have lots of fears and you're going to have to overcome them. Yeah.
It's compulsory.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I say it's great to have a mentor as well, but also the fact that you have tools and you work through. I like your process, really. I like the fact that you believe, you trust. that you have tools
Mm.
that will take you through the process, and you know that you can pivot as well. Just and it's okay to make mistakes.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Yeah, it's okay to make mistakes and accept that, yeah, you've made a mistake there, and always making sure that you do your best and being kind and compassionate to yourself, but also to others in that
Yeah.
relationship, whatever it is that you're in. And if you have to end it, really just end it in a good way. Um, that's amazing because when you look at your licensing was a good way to help us process your fears and what is potentially what could happen, and yeah, allowing yourself.
Mm. And we can get caught up in that sometimes, people, I've seen people get paralyzed by the fears of what could go wrong. But normally things don't go wrong. Normally things go right and everything's fine, but that anxiety and the worries in our head make things scarier. And it can be paralyzing. And I've seen people who've had big dreams and wanted to do things, but they've let that fear get in the way of them taking that step. And so I think we just have to keep trying and getting it right and trusting that we know what we're doing and that whatever happens, we can work it out.
We
I
can
think
work
that's
it
a big
out.
part of it.
I think
Yeah.
is that bit of trusting um is a big thing, really big
Yeah.
thing. And I know that you've managed to let go of certain things, initiatives that you've put up and decided to let go. You've given us the Saudi Arabia, wasn't it, example of where you had to then do it on Zoom, was it? Yeah.
Yes.
So pivoting in different situations as well is really important because I think pivoting, and you pivoted as well with the during 2020, is it?
In 2020, yeah, we had to
Yeah.
pivot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it's a big part of entrepreneurship too. And I think the people who hold on and refuse to pivot, they're the ones who find it really hard. It's, yeah, I think, and I know that a lot of other awards programs don't run anymore that were running before 2020 because they couldn't reimagine what it would look like. They couldn't work out how to pivot. And
Mm,
so they had to let it go altogether. And that's okay too. Letting go altogether makes room for something new to come through.
yeah.
But I think as an entrepreneur, you have to be open to that. You have to be open to letting go, to pivoting, to reimagining, to doing things differently. I think that's a really big part of the process.
Oh, very good. Thank you. I know that we are still talking about our play big. We want to have a strategy that has helped you to grow from idea to international influence. I don't know if you can shape something up. Maybe it's in the business school, in the women's business school. Is that something that you can share with the women, a step-by-step kind of framework that can move them from idea to playing big?
Yeah, I think the first thing with ideas is to allow yourself to dream about that idea and to visualize it before you even tell anybody else, is to allow yourself just permission to daydream about that idea and that dream, what it could look like and why you want to do it and how fun it would be and the ripple effect and impact and the magic that it would create in the world. So the first step is really just allowing yourself to daydream about the idea. Then the next step is to speak it out loud, to write it down, like to put it out into the world. And I think it's really important at this stage to only share your dreams and ideas with people who are going to be supportive because there's lots of dream crushers out there. There are. They are well-intentioned and well-meaning, but often they are projecting their own fears onto other people. So people who aren't entrepreneurs don't understand how entrepreneurs work. And they will often very misguidedly think they're being helpful in pointing out all of the ways that your idea could go wrong. But if you tell someone your idea at this stage, it can get squashed and destroyed and ruined. So only share that idea with somebody you trust who's going to be cheering for you and have your back. So
Yeah.
that's the second step is like speaking it into the world, being brave enough to be like, this is my big crazy idea.
Yes, yes.
That's the second step. Then the third step is taking action. And it's that 5 seconds of courage. It's like, I'm going to do it. And just taking the first step. So you don't have to do all of the things, but just one thing that's going to get you started on the journey with that idea. And then I think from there, you're developing and growing it. You're putting together a plan for the next steps in how to get it going. You're thinking about the timeline, giving yourself deadlines and different times for when you want to achieve the certain goal by. And then you're also thinking about who's going to help me? Who can I call on to come and help me put this together and make it a reality? And so, and then the next step is like, is doing it, is rolling it out and making it happen, bringing it to life in the world. And sometimes that takes time. I mean, we talked to Tererai about the Women Changing the World Awards for 6 or 7 years before we launched. So ideas can take a long time to come together. But if you just keep working away at it, they can happen. Don't give up on your dreams. But don't expect everything all at once either. But yeah, that would be my process.
Uh,
So allow yourself to daydream first, then speak it out into the world, then um, yeah, call in help, think
yeah,
about your timeline.
taking
Yeah.
the first step.
And take that,
All
yeah,
right.
the 5 seconds of courage. Yeah. Take that
Okay.
first step. And then, yeah, start putting together a plan and getting people to help you.
Yes, calling people
Yes.
up here and bringing it to life and demonstrating that the awards took 6 years. That's really um,
Yeah.
allowing women to see the possibilities. And yeah,
Yeah. It wasn't just something we came up with on Wednesday and rolled out on Thursday.
yeah,
Spent
yeah,
a long time
yeah.
thinking about it, thinking about what it was going to be called, all of the intention behind it as well. That was all a lot of work in pulling it together. How
Oh,
it was going to be global, all of that.
mm.
Yeah.
Oh wow. That's really allows most of the people to see the possibility. Okay, I can take time. Some ideas might need to take time.
Mm.
Up on
And
that.
that's okay. Yeah.
Don't give
But
up.
don't wait for things to be perfect.
Yeah.
Take action, get started,
Take
make
action.
mistakes, make changes, you know, keep going.
Yeah, make mistakes. Women need that.
Yes.
They need to understand,
Yes.
especially you talked about women like yourself who have an element of perfectionism, which is the same applies to me. So really allowing ourselves to make mistakes puts us in the space. Yeah, I like that.
Yes.
I like that. So what's the one thing you wish more women understood about growth, leadership, and scaling their mission globally?
I wish they would trust themselves to just do it, to let go of all of the fears and believe in themselves enough to take action and follow their dreams. Because I know that women have dreams, but they're not all taking action on their dreams. They're letting their dreams be forgotten or squashed by somebody else or squashed by themselves, silenced by themselves because they're afraid of playing big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So allow yourself to, yeah, to take action to these dreams. Just take action.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know that you're about women's stories, highlighting women's growth and of course through summits, awards, book publishing, you've tapped into stories. What story stands out for you? Is there a particular story that has stood out?
Oh my gosh, there's so many incredible stories. We've published over 300 women's stories.
Yeah.
Um, there's so many. Uh, yeah, we've had incredible stories of women who were a woman who was a refugee and had to walk across her country to escape as a child with her family and then come to Australia and start again. We've had women stories of disability, of homelessness, of domestic violence, and they've had so many challenges that they've had to overcome and then gone on to create incredible businesses and movements and initiatives to help other people. And I think it's that generosity of spirit that really shines through in these stories of women facing challenges and overcoming them and then going on to give back to others. I think it's a theme that we see again and again in these stories of women just wanting to make the world a better place and you know, leading with their heart.
Playing with her heart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. So how do you define sisterhood in entrepreneurial space? And how can more women rise together instead of apart?
I think I think there is a really strong sisterhood. I think there are a couple of individuals who don't get it, who are working in a more masculine framework, but the majority of women are. They're they are genuinely wanting to help each other and support each other and be there for each other. And so if we can nurture and encourage more of that, of women coming together to support each other, knowing that they don't have to do it on their own and they don't have to compete with other women, that actually we can all well, there's enough room for all of us to be successful. I think that's a really big part of sisterhood, and that if more women understood that, then the world would be a better place as well. That we're here to support each other. There's enough room for all of us to be brilliant and incredible in our own way. Even if there's other people who are doing similar things to what you're doing, there's still room for you to be unique and do your thing because no one else can do it the same way that you do. No one brings what you have, what's special about you, to what they do. That's something only you have. So I think, yeah, I think sisterhood should be about supporting each other and cheering each other on and celebrating each other because when one woman rises, we all have permission to rise.
All have permission to rise. That's great. And you've really just enabled us. I think that particular message needs to be put out more. Um, Thinking about the fact that we all have this space. When you see someone's
Yes.
life, it's not supposed to make you feel bad, to make you disempowered. It's actually just there to make you rise up, to see the possibilities. And yeah, it's to just know that it's possible. Just support one another. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Be inspired by each other, not threatened by each other.
Not threatened, not thinking about it as
Yeah.
a we all this that mindset that it's not enough. If somebody has
Yeah.
it, then I can't
And
have.
scarcity.
Yeah,
Yes, the scarcity. But whereas we need to be in an abundance mindset that if they're successful, well, wow, I can be successful too.
yeah.
There's enough for all of us.
There's enough.
Yes.
There's enough for
Yes.
all of us. That mindset is very difficult to tap into, but we have to just keep telling people, I think, that there's enough.
Yeah.
There's enough. So what is there ever a time? I know you come from a background of bold dad, action taker mom. Um, was there a time when you felt this vision was too big and maybe success was too far? And what helped you keep going, if at all there was ever this time?
Yeah, I think in the early days of business when I was trying to work around the clock and felt like I was not getting anywhere and I was just working harder and harder and harder. Um, there have been times in our business where Katie and I have wanted to sell our business and just quit and just go and get normal jobs. And we've come close. We even had somebody who wanted to buy our business at one point. But then we were like, no, we're not selling it for that small an amount. We've worked too hard. We're not going to give it away. I think because there's two of us, I think if I was on my own, I might have been more likely to quit, but I don't want to let her down and she doesn't want to let me down. So there's that. But as well as that, we have a really strong vision for what we want to achieve. We have this is a legacy. I see the Women Changing the World Awards in particular being around 100 years from now and still being a really powerful movement in uplifting and celebrating women. So I think when you have a vision that's that clear and that's that big, that's a motivator that gets you out of bed every day. And no matter what challenges you're facing, you know that that's what you're working for. And I remember in 2020, my word of the year was vision. And I think that vision, knowing that I was here for a reason, that I had such a strong purpose, and it didn't matter that we would go through this time for, a year or two, that eventually we would come out the other side and we would still need to show up for women and provide a space for women to amplify their voices and share their messages.
Wow, that's powerful that you need to just having that vision and being anchored to that aspect that you need to show up for others, but also allowing us to tap into that perspective that you've got to a point where you almost wanted to sell it. Yeah.
Yeah, business is hard. It's really hard. And yeah, I think that if you go into business just to make money, I think there's people who will get to the hard point and they'll be like, no, I can't keep doing this. And they'll quit. But if you go into business with a vision and purpose, then you're much more likely to keep going through those hard times. I truly believe that.
Definitely, that's a business school takeaway. Definitely, vision and
Hmm.
purpose are going to anchor you into your journey, and you're able to keep going. I think that's Simon Sinek's begin with a why. That
Beginning why, yes.
yes, begin with a why. So we need to anchor into that. So, what has been your most courageous decision that you have taken to expand your global vision? Do you have a one particular one that you think?
Launching the Women Changing the World Awards and booking the venue for that first event in London. That was pretty brave to do that and paying the deposit. I mean, Australian dollars compared to pounds, it's really scary. It was a big financial commitment, and we just had to trust that people would come, and they did come.
Oh,
So that courageous decision paid off. Um, but if we hadn't been brave enough to do that, if we had have, if our mindset had have said, no, that's too hard, that's too, there's no way we could do that,
yeah.
then it wouldn't have happened. But yeah, we had the courage. I mean, and to be fair, we'd been talking about holding an event in London for a really long time before that. So it was like, okay, we've got to do this now. We've been saying we wanted to do it. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
And it was a really courageous moment. And I'm so glad we did,
Yeah.
because that's where it all began. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. I'm so glad you did it as well. That's why I'm having a conversation with you. It makes it possible for me to meet you. If you hadn't done it, I
Yeah,
wouldn't have met you. So I'm
exactly.
really glad that you did. So looking ahead, what legacy do you most hope women changing the world will leave behind?
I hope that we will create a powerful ripple effect across the world where women believe in themselves and take action when they have a dream to make the world a better place, that they will do that. Uh, Not just the women who win the awards, but the women around those women who see them. Maybe they read a newspaper article about them. Maybe they see them on TV. Maybe they know them. They live down the street from them, and they will be inspired to take action as a result of seeing those other women making a difference in the world. And I think if we could get more and more people to realize that they have the power to create change in their lives and in the world, then that would be pretty cool. And that would be an amazing legacy to leave for sure.
Definitely, it was. That's beautiful, beautiful. And when we look at, I know that during the awards, you talked about a membership platform. We want
Mhm.
to know more about uh, what initiated you to go into this space and what's coming forward from that.
So yes, this is one of those examples of an experiment that we tried. We had this idea of having a membership, and it's still a really beautiful idea, but I think we need to reimagine it because we have so many things that we're working on, that if we're going to do something, we want to do it really well and it has to be right. So we have decided to pause the membership at the moment to give ourselves time and space to work on the other things we're working on, but also to bring back the membership when we're ready to do it, when we've got systems and strategy in place for that. So yeah, it's another example of being okay with, something that we'd said we were going to bring into the world and then like, it's all right. Not right now. Let's pause it. Let's look at it again down the track and see what comes through.
That's another lesson for us to learn. Thank you. You can even give
Yeah,
yourself permission to pause it. And
exactly. Yes, you don't have to throw things out altogether. You can pause them and come back to it when you're ready, and that's okay too.
it's okay. It's really okay. Wow. There's just so much. We're in the business school anyway, right now. We're in the business school, Women Changing the World, business school. Um, what's the next for women changing the world? Any
Mm.
dreams or bold expansions on the horizon?
I guess the thing I'm most excited about is the licenses. So, women in different parts of the world, different countries, taking on those licenses and holding events for women in their community themselves. I'm really excited about that and giving those women the opportunity to create a platform for other women in their countries. We've already started talking with some of the licensees about getting those events off the ground in the next 12 months. So that is super exciting, and I can see that being really huge. Um, and yeah, very, very exciting and huge impact as well. The ripple effect from those events, I think, can be powerful. I mean, we've been running the Osmompreneur Awards in Australia. Australia has a population of 24 million people, so really it's not one of the biggest countries in the world. But we have created something really unique and really special with those awards, and I think that the Women Changing the World Awards as standalone events in all of the different countries around the world has the potential to be really powerful. So I'm super excited about that and about women everywhere being recognized and celebrated for the work that they're doing.
Great work, great initiative. Thank you for that. Now we're looking at your stellar woman. What are your stellar woman attributes? Yeah,
So I think,
yeah,
yeah, what makes me a stellar woman, I think, is
what
grit.
makes you or what do you believe a stellar woman attributes?
Yeah, I think it's grit. I think it's showing up and doing the hard work, um, and staying focused on your vision, like not giving up and not quitting, even though sometimes it's hard,
Yeah,
and calling in the support that you need, and that can be in the form of self-care, as well as asking for other people to help you in your vision. But that, yeah, looking after yourself and staying focused on your dream, I think that's part of what being a stellar woman is all about.
amazing, amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Now, is there anything people don't know about peace?
I
Anything?
think I've shared a lot. I think I've shared a lot. Oh,
No, is there anything that,
you
yeah.
know what? Yeah, I set dreams and goals for myself regularly. I'm a big fan of vision boards, but a goal that I have for later this year, so in the next 6 months, is to climb Everest Base Camp. So that's a 130-kilometer trek through the Himalayas in Nepal. So I'm very excited about that. So I am in training at the moment because I've never done anything like that before. Never climbed a mountain range like that, or gone on this is a 15-day trek. I've never done a multi-day trek before either. So I'm very excited about that.
Wow. Yeah, there's a black in that. That's huge.
Yeah.
Another big thing to do. That's exciting. We wish you the best and we can't wait to cheer you on. When is this going to
Thank you.
be? Is it in 6 months?
November, I'm looking at
November?
going.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Wow. All the best. I know you're going to enjoy
Thank
it.
you.
It's going to be amazing. So, what mindset practices or rituals help you to stay grounded as you continue to rise? I know you talked about journaling, but is
Mm.
there anything more? I know you're spiritual as well, but if you can share those particular rituals.
Yeah, I do yoga sometimes, not every single day, but I do yoga, and I love going out and walking in nature. I find that really um, a really grounding practice. The journaling it's a big one. I'm a big fan of Elizabeth Gilbert, the author of Eat, Pray, Love, and she has a movement called Letters from Love, and the idea is it's a two-way prayer where you ask with your journaling, dear love, what would you have me know today? And then you channel, you journal what messages come through to you from love, from your higher power, from your future self, whatever it may be. And it's really powerful, the messages that come through. And Liz Gilbert's created a beautiful community on Substack where people share their letters from love, and she has a special guest each week who shares their letter um, from love as well that they wrote for themselves. So that's been a really beautiful grounding practice that I found quite helpful.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, this year.
Oh, that's a good one. So, dear love. So, is that yourself? Eh,
Yeah, well, you're writing. Yeah,
I've read.
it's a higher power of some sort. It's love.
Okay.
Mm.
You're going to make me reread the book. I read it a long time. Now I'm going to. I'm. I'm going to read it again.
Yeah, if you do a search for Elizabeth Gilbert Letters from Love, you'll find all
Yeah,
sorts of things there.
it's from love. Yeah. Thank you for
Letters from
sharing
Love.
that, Bridget.
It's really beautiful.
Must be.
Beautiful practice.
Yeah. So we do encourage all the stellar women to leave a challenge to our subscribers to help them rise up. And this time we want them to rise up to play big. What challenge would you like to leave them?
I would like to, I would like for them to imagine their biggest dream and give themselves permission to dream even bigger on that goal. And then I'd like them to write it down. So if they're not ready to tell anybody, that's okay, but to write it down for themselves so they've got that dream written down and put the date on it for today's date. I think that would be a really great challenge for them to think about playing bigger.
Oh, wow, that's a good one. Yeah, there you are. That's the challenge for to be able to play bigger. You need to imagine your biggest dream and then take yourself to even dream it, make it bigger.
Dream even bigger.
Yeah, bigger than that. Wow. Then write it down if you're not ready to share it for yourself. And remember to put a date.
Yes.
That is our challenge today for this Play Big movement. Thank you so much for your generous time, Peace. Thank you for sharing, for opening up generously. And I'm sure I have been transformed just today. So there's a lot to do, a lot of actions to take from what you've shared with us. It has just been amazing, amazing. It is really, Katy missing her is, we hope that all that you have given transforms exactly to what she would have shared. But we are so fortunate and glad that you have shared what you have shared. This is really a business school, a life school mastery.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me. I've really enjoyed chatting with you today, Stella, and I hope that everybody in the Stellar Woman community enjoys hearing a bit more about my story.
Fantastic, fantastic. It has been, it's Peace Mitchell here from Women Changing the World, although we've missed Katy Garner and also Women's Business School, Women Changing the World Press, all the mompreneurs, all those things that she is doing, that the two are doing with Dr. Trent as well, to show and demonstrate to us that we can dream big and we can actually play big, revealing those possibilities so that we too can become and create the impact that we desire in our families, in our lives, but also make the world a better and a brighter world. And it's me, Stella Kikoyo, your editor-in-chief of the Stella Woman magazine. So remember to dream big and play big. Goodbye. Peace. Is there anything you want to say last minute?
I think I've said everything, but keep dreaming big, everyone. It's so important. Don't let those fears stop you.
Amazing. Take care, everyone, and thank you for being with us. Until next time, bye bye.
Bye.